Begin. Hey guys, and welcome to another rendition of what you should be watching with me, Brad Fitzpatrick, and my ever so lovely co-host, Zach Washburn. Hey Zach.
How you doing?
I'm here. It was my weekend to work, and now I am dead tired, as always. Today we're going to be talking about classics, and for some of you guys out there who are watching this who are not that old at all, these are ancient movies. To us, they're classics. To you, they might be akin to scrolls from the Dead Seas. So, but these are still really great movies, and if you have not seen them, we still say that you should very much see some of these great, great movies. As always, though, we're going to leave with Zach because Zach always has the better list than me, and we always like to have a good conversation with him as we go. So, Zach, what is your number 5 classic movie?
First, I'd like to say on defining a classic. Um, like I said, some watching this may be pretty young. If you're a millennial, these might seem ancient, but some people might have different definitions of what they consider a classic. Brad and I just kind of threw out a number, anything pre-1970. A lot of people consider classics to be black and white. They've later redid black and white movies into color, so it's kind of hard to do that. But my first is one that I don't actually own. I would love to find it, but it's an old Vincent Price movie. Vincent Price and Peter Lorre, and it's called Tales of Terror.
Nice.
Yes,
Nice.
and this this was a small collection. It was a collection of 3 movies written by Edgar Allan Poe,
Mm-hmm.
and Vincent Price is in all 3. Peter Lorre is in the middle one. Just great acting. He and Vincent Price did a number of movies. I actually have another one of his on my honorable mentions, but you can't really think about classics without thinking of Vincent Price. And of course, he was the master of the classic horror genre. He loved Edgar Allan Poe. He was in
Yes.
most adaptations of Edgar Allan Poe, and him and Peter Lorre were just great, great together. The one I like the most in it is um, I forget the name of it. I think it's the Black Cat or something similar. Vincent Price plays a wine connoisseur who comes into this small little village, and he has the ability to taste any wine and can tell you the year and what it is. And
Sommelier. Yeah.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I said.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Peter Lorre is married to this beautiful woman. He's a drunk, and he always takes her money and stuff and goes to get drunk every night. And she's very unhappy. And Peter Lorre and Vincent Price end up in a wine taste-off. And Peter Lorre is so drunk that Vincent Price has to help him home. And Vincent Price ends up falling in love with his wife and having an affair. And Peter Lorre finds out and ends up killing them. Um, but the acting in it is just amazing, of course. And that's another thing about classics. Sometimes they're dated, of course, but if you can watch a classic and still appreciate it for the great actors in it, that doesn't end up using CGI or special effects, and you can appreciate the acting and still appreciate it even though it's a dated movie, I think that's another definition of a classic.
I will agree with that.
Yeah.
I'll agree with that. So,
So number 4.
number 4. Good choice on number
we-
5, though, by the way.
Thank
Vincent
you.
Price is always great. So please,
Thank you.
number 4, though.
Number 4 is The Lion in Winter with Katharine Hepburn and Peter
Mm,
O'Toole.
yeah. Good choice. Very good
One of my
choice.
favorite Katharine Hepburn movies. Of course, Peter O'Toole's, he's good in almost anything.
And
Uh,
yeah, literally, like I haven't. It's really hard pressed to find a bad movie with Peter O'Toole in it.
yeah, yeah. But if you haven't seen it, it was a great Broadway play for a number of years, and they did an older movie adaptation. This was actually a remake, but it's my favorite. Also, a very young Anthony Hopkins is in it as well.
Yep.
as eldest son. Really good movie if you haven't seen it.
Yeah. Pretty fantastic, actually. You
Yeah.
know, like really sets the stage for a lot of, for a lot of those actors. So really, really good choice for number 4. Like you kind of forget, specifically as we get older, um, how great some of these classic movies were until we actually start to talk about them.
It's easy to do in today's, time with all the blockbusters and popcorn movies and effects and stuff.
Yeah. You
It
forget,
is
like back in the day when there wasn't any of that stuff, and they actually had to carry a movie with dialogue.
actors.
Yeah,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
Now, honestly, the only really good storyteller that I know nowadays that can carry a movie just with actors and a good set piece, ugh, Quentin Tarantino. Quentin
The,
Tarantino can take a set with just the actors and make it so entertaining. Kevin Smith,
yeah.
you know,
And they
real.
these directors you're mentioning, I think they would agree with you in the fact that they appreciate the classics and they
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Oh yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. But all right, good number 5, good number 4. Keep this going with a good number 3.
I will try. My number three is one of the greatest rivalries in cinematic history, in my opinion. They came together to make Whatever Happened to Baby Jane.
Oh,
Betty Davis and Joan
oh,
Crawford.
talk about great movie.
Yeah,
Oh man.
they were both amazing in it. If you don't know their history, they hated each other in real life.
Hmm.
They
They
were
actually
both.
made a. Didn't they make like a small movie
They
based
did.
on that
Uh,
rivalry, or was it a TV series, like a mini series?
yes, it was a mini series. I don't know that it did very well. It was Susan Sarandon and Jessica Lange were in it
What
playing the
I
part.
what I remember is that it did exceptionally well.
Did it?
Yeah, like it got like critically acclaimed and stuff like
Because
that.
they were going to keep doing it with different Hollywood rivalries.
Yeah, that's what
I
I
haven't
heard
heard
too.
I haven't heard anything about them continuing, so I didn't know. But I still have yet to see it, and I really wanted to see it. But
Yeah, it's hard when TV is, TV.
exactly. But anyone who hasn't seen this, it is a great movie. You could definitely tell, and in the movie they hate each other too. They play sisters.
Yeah.
Uh, it's just phenomenal to watch them. They're both, even though they hate each other, they're both great actresses,
I mean, but
both
you think that
Academy Award winners.
that could be where they got the energy for in the movie, though?
Absolutely.
I mean, like literally, like it's virulent almost.
Yeah.
Their animosity towards each other, and it's noticeable. And I think that really does like help.
Oh, it helps
You
when the
know?
characters hate each other. It definitely helps. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, oh, good movie though. Like, oh, exceptional writing on that one too. Oh,
Yeah, it's a great story. It has a twist at the end. If you haven't seen it, it has a twist at the end that you don't expect. So
yeah.
recommended.
Oh, all right. Good. Very good number 3. Like, mwah. That's mwah. Good number 3, right?
Thank you.
Good. Okay. Number 2 then.
Number two is Auntie Mame, the Rosalind Russell version.
I I don't think I've actually seen that.
There's two. The original is with Lucille Ball called Mame. Um, it's about this eccentric, uh, very rich aunt that takes in her nephew after his parents die, and she kind of raises him and stuff. And it's just about their life. And she ends up losing all her money, and then she gets it back. And I never actually saw the original with Lucille Ball. The first one I ever saw with Rosalind Russell. She just does amazing in this role. If you've never seen it, um, it's like one of the. I think it's the role she was born to play. Everyone has those roles they're born to play. That this was hers, in my opinion.
I mean, probably so. Like, I've
Yeah,
never actually even. I don't even think I've even heard of it.
it's a comedy. It's a classic comedy with her. If you've never seen it, I highly recommend it.
All right. I may have to look it up. See what I can do. But it's probably not on TV anymore.
Been a while. I'll
Yeah.
look it up on TCM.
All right. Okay. Number two. Number two. I haven't seen it, but I'll try it out. What's your number 1 favorite
My
classic
number
of
one.
all time?
I mean, it's going to be hard to beat this, in my opinion.
I mean, if
But
I had a baseball bat, I can try.
There's no question. My number one, Sunset Boulevard.
Oh,
Laura
okay.
Johnson. He just doesn't get much better. She was so elusive in Hollywood anyway, and she did this movie. It won all the records, and it uh, the story is great. If you haven't seen it, it's about it kind of fits the time too, because when this movie came out, what they call talkies
Mm-hmm.
were really big. It was made in the late 20s, early 30s, and the silent movie area was dying. And this is about an actress who was big in the silent movie area, and now she's older and eccentric and losing some of her fame and credibility, and uh, it's just about her struggle with that. Um, and she does amazingly.
That does sound pretty cool.
Yeah,
Honestly, that sounds like a really good number one. Obviously, I mean, any of your listings are good, and that's a movie that I haven't actually seen, so I can only attest to, what I trust in your ability to make a good movie choice. That seems like a really interesting movie. Well, I may have to try to look that up sometime.
you've heard it before, though, right?
Yes, yes, I have heard of it. I've just never seen it.
Auntie Mame, I can understand, but if you haven't heard of Sunset Boulevard,
Yeah,
you could be living under a rock.
yeah. No, like I said, I've heard of it. I never got a chance to actually see it.
Right.
Which is why it's kind of like I said, it's kind of surprising to me. So, now, are there any honorable mentions you want to get out of the way now, or would you rather
I
wait?
do. Thank you for asking.
Yes.
My first honorable mention is the other one I was going to say with Vincent Price and Peter Lorre. It's called Comedy of Terror, and it's actually a whole full-length movie that's not stories. It's about Vincent Price plays an undertaker, and Peter Lorre is his assistant, and they start running out of business because people aren't dying fast enough. So
Right.
Vincent Price comes up with this plan to start offing people to up his business, and it's another comedy, comedy duo with him and Peter Lorre, um, and it's great. It's a great movie. It was actually a toss between that one and Tales of Terror for my number five. So I wanted to mention that one. On our top comedies, I had to pick the Pink Panther, so I didn't put this on this list. If I
Right.
hadn't, it definitely would have on this list because all the Pink Panthers are great classics in my opinion. And the last one is another great Betty Davis one, Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte.
Yeah, that is a good one.
Yeah, that was Bruce Dern's first film as well. If you haven't seen it, it's a really good spooky film too.
It is a very, very good movie. Honestly, very good honorable mentions. A very good list. It's going to be hard pressed for me to top it. Okay. But hopefully you guys will understand, like, these are good movies too. So my number five, okay, might come out of left field for you, Zach, but it's one that I always watch if I can ever find it anywhere. And it used to come on quite a bit on American Movie Classics, but it hasn't in a very long time. Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein.
Yeah. Oh, any Abbott and Costello, that's a great classic.
Yeah. I don't know why I like that one the most. But there was just like something about it that was just, their interaction with Frankenstein.
Well, their scary ones, their quote unquote scary ones
Yeah.
were always the best.
Hold on one sec. Felt like I was going to sneeze, but I didn't in the end. But yeah, no, like you're right. They've done Frankenstein. They've done The Mummy, and just really like interesting comedy work on their part as always. So I really like the I don't know, like the Abbott and Costello little banter. Like I don't know who would be better though, Abbott Costello or Laurel and Hardy. Because I love all the Laurel and Hardy stuff too.
Sure.
Um,
Well, that's what made them great. They always had great back and forth with each other,
yes, very much so.
Yeah.
So that was my number five. My number four though is probably my oldest movie on
Okay.
here. Okay. Nosferatu.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, still holds good to this day.
It's very creepy. It's a very
yes.
creepy movie.
One of the original vampire stories, and probably one of my most favorite. Just like they couldn't make that movie today.
No.
They couldn't. Like with all of everything that was available to them, like movie wise back in the day, like like made it really creepy, really spooky, and really kind of scary at times.
Yeah.
And like it's one of those movies. Like to me, I really feel like if you went into it thinking, well, this is kind of a low budget movie or something like that, you can kind of pull it off and it still holds its own.
Oh, definitely.
You know, I love that movie though. Nosferatu, one of the greatest monster movies of all time, in my opinion.
It is.
Not your usual vampire.
No, but it is definitely a classic.
Right. My number 3, on the other hand, also going with the horror theme, and which I love my horror movies, as we've talked about before.
Yeah.
The very original House on Haunted Hill.
Another Vincent Price.
Another Vincent Price.
Yeah.
Probably, and I mean, talk about amazing actor, Vincent Price.
He's great.
Glorious during his time. Like so great.
Yeah, he had a way of delivering the most simple lines and make them sound, so elegant, and just deliver them with such, force that it really sticks with you.
Exactly, and it was, and like most of those, like all of his movies, like even though he was mainly a horror actor, like if you look back at his life, he was really just a nice guy all the way around.
Oh, absolutely.
Loved everybody and wanted, nothing better than to further other people, but he loved to do horror. He really loved to put the scares on people.
Yeah. And he did a good job.
Oh, very much so.
Yeah.
Very much so. All right, so my number 2. We're getting down to the nitty gritty. Okay? I don't know if this has been on any of our lists. I know we have talked about it.
Okay.
Okay? But I'm going to say 2001: A Space Odyssey.
It definitely deserves to be on a classic list. Absolutely.
I mean, Stanley Kubrick. I mean, still considered as one of the top story masters of all time. So, like, in his movie, like, specifically 2001: A Space Odyssey, just iconic in every single scene, is almost like a painting, like a photograph that's just like, oh my God, like, this is a perfectly, imagined what his vision was. And, like, I think that one is the best of all of his movies.
Yeah.
Completely.
I wouldn't say that, but it does deserve to be on a classic list.
All right, and my number 1, like, this is one of my favorite classics of all time, which I watch regularly. Okay, there are several that I watch that I'm going to go over as honorable mentions, but I think this one's going to top the bill. Okay, The Sound of Music.
Oh yeah. I think we've been over this. I've never seen that.
You have never seen The Sound of Music?
Never seen it.
Poor Zach.
I'm telling you, we need to do an episode of great movies that we've never seen, and you could add Sunset Boulevard on yours.
I mean, yeah, like literally, I could add half the movies that you have talked about in reality, but like, geez, like, like The Sound of Music, iconic, classic movie.
Oh, I know. I've heard it's great.
Music is fantastic.
Yeah.
Acting is top notch, and it resonates. Specifically today.
Yeah.
Now, my honorable mentions, okay, are going to be some ones that are awesome in their own right, because you've got Mary Poppins. You've got Breakfast at Tiffany's. You've got The Sword and the Stone, which we've already talked about before. Now, I have another one that I really, really love, and it's an oldie, classic movie, but I have not seen it in ages. The Swiss Family Robinson.
Oh, I love Swiss Family Robinson. Yeah.
Right?
Great.
Yeah. Like, and I wanted to put it on my list along with all these other really, really good, good movies. And to top it off, the number 1 honorable mention, though, if you guys want to take away, Anything by Hitchcock.
I I'm so close to adding a Hitchcock one because you really can't talk about. But Hitchcock, that's another one of those we've got to put an episode off just about his movies because
I will, yeah, I will 100% agree with you.
there's no bad Hitchcock movie.
No, like I don't.
It's just one of those where you have to have. We're going to have a Hitchcock episode just
Yeah,
for this.
I mean, honestly, because like again, we talk about Stanley Kubrick being a visionary filmmaker. Like Hitchcock is just otherworldly when it came to like horror, but like so down to earth horror.
Right.
Like using the camera tricks the way that he did to present itself in so scary fashion. You know, and he even came out at one point in time and said, "I don't know why people watch my movies because they scare me."
Yeah.
You know, love Hitchcock. But I mean, honestly, like I feel that your list was fantastic, Zach.
You have a great list too. I love your honorable mentions.
I mean, still, you know. Now, I really, honestly, right now, I really want to see Nosferatu again. I really do. I really want to sit down and watch it again.
Have you seen Shadow of the Vampire? Did you like that?
Yes,
That
I did.
biography movie about it.
Yep. It's actually really good and really fun to watch.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but still, Nosferatu is probably one of my favorite vampire movies of all time. Just in its subtle horror nature. There you go. Zach, is there anything that you would like to add at the end of this video, like always?
Like I always say, support your arts because without art, the world would be even suckier than it is.
And it's pretty bad.
Getting bad out there.
But remember, guys, please continue the conversation. Like, subscribe, share with your friends. We like to talk. As you can see, we talk all the time. Give us some topics. Tell us what your classic movies are. But remember, until then, always be kind to each other. And we'll see you in the next one.